We are today discussing on Yoga Vasishtha Nirvana Prakaran second half and 84th chapter. In continuation of our old stone story, the golden stone, where Vasishtha saw a beautiful creation and he saw the destruction, means the dissolution of the creation from outside, and how Brahma, the creator, and Saraswati, they dissolved into the absolute, and he was explaining the details of dissolution, how it happened, and by the way, he was narrating, he was explaining Rama the last scene of the dissolution. So there he was describing the time god and the power of time god, which we say Kala Bhairav, the terrific sound personified into Kala Bhairav, and its power which dissolves everything. That is known as Kala Ratri. Both were dancing, means they were the last phase of the dissolution. So that was what we were discussing, and time, not only the destructive power, it is also the creative, protective, and in the end destructive power. And it is a power when the object is activated, that is his quality or his nature is expressed, then only we know what it is by name, by action, by reactions, by movements. We know what it is, and that is its nature, quality, or its action. That's how we know the object. Every object is known in this way. So when there is destruction, then how it happens? It is a process, end of some process, which is creation and existence of the creations for some time. Always we use the time. Time is always the measuring rod. And in the end it destroys. Everything has to undergo the same process. In this relative world, whatever is seen or created or personified or manifested, we can say, it has to remain for some time and it has to disappear in the original cause. This is the theory of cause and effect. And this is how time, which is known as a changing process, counting process, and it is also the power of all these, which is ever changing. That's how whatever is there in this relative world, it is subject to time. And in the beginning it is, and in the end also it has to be. This way, the great Guru Vasishtha Ji was explaining Rama about the destruction of that world inside that golden rock, and Rama was in between. He was clarifying his doubts, and Vasishtha was explaining everything accordingly. So now we are going to discuss भद्र यह काली है। तात्पर्य यह है कि कल गतो संख्याने च, इस धातु से काल और काली दोनों, इसको कल हम विचार किए थे, दोनों शब्दों का निर्माण हुआ है। व्याकरण लोगों का कहना है कि कल धातु तो एक कामधेनु है, यानी कामधेनु से जो चाहे दुहा जा सकता है। वैसे ही काल धातु से जो भी अर्थ निकालना हो निकाला जा सकता है। इसीलिए यह लाखों ब्रह्मांड रूप बीज कोशों की निर्माण करती है, धारण करती है, और परिणाम आदि विकारों को प्राप्त भी करती है। यों स्वयं क्रिया रूप होता हुआ कमललता के सदृश श्यामला भी बन गई है। इसीलिए अपने फूल आदि अवयव स्वरूप इन पृथ्वी आदि दृश्य लक्ष्मी को हृदय में धारण करती है। Vasishtha was telling the literal meaning of time and time power. How in Sanskrit kala word is made out of the root kal. This root also creates the word kali. Kala, time and power of time, both are same. So it is created, composed by the root kala. Kala means to create and to change and to hold everything. And according to grammar, this root has got innumerable meanings. This is such a root out of which we can make so many words, which means differently from each other. Kal means kalpana karna, to think over. Kal means kalana karna, to count. Kal means change also, to change. Many words are composed from this root. So it has got vast meaning, and mainly because the word means it has got many meanings, so it also implied for crores of millions of creations. They are created by the time only. So this creative power, who, क्या हो जाता है भाई? ये नहीं हो सकता, वो तो फिसल जाता है. Time means also to connect. When the connection is loose, no, no work can be done. Relationship. Without relationship, there is no world. So, naturally, ये हुई बात. Time also means to change. Time also is invisible. It deletes everything. And this same time also manifests everything. So, it is based on the absolute. When the absolute, which is unmanifested, tries to manifest, there comes the time. That's how time is a changing process. Without change, the manifestation cannot be possible. Time means to delete everything, and time means to show everything again. ये आवाज कहाँ से आ रहा है? Yes? Audible now? Okay. Lose connection. Lose connection. Time also detaches the connection and attaches also. Both way. Time power works. यो स्वयं क्रिया रूप होती हुई. This way, the time being the form of action and reaction, it unfolds the unmanifested. It manifests, and that's how it is a, it is a, it is like a creeper, always changing. So it is supported by something, it has to take support, and it manifests. That manifestation is expressed in poetical language. It is a flower. When the bud manifests, it unfolds into a flower. And then flower will have some seed or some fruit. In this way, the seed becomes many. One seed becomes many in the way of its unfolding. The same seed becomes the tree. The same tree holds many seeds, again many trees. In this way, one becomes many, and this is the process of creation. That's how the Vedas said, I am one, let me be many. One multiplies, and that multiplying process is nothing but time and time power, creative power, so it is also destructive power. In this way, the presentation of our Indian philosophy, it explains the creation which starts in the water, and it creates a lotus, and on the lotus the creator is established. That means in this way we have seen the flower is the root cause of all the multiplication. Flower becomes fruit, fruit has seed, and seed multiplies. This is the process of creation. So, in the end also the same time plays the role. इसीलिए अपने फूल आदि अवयव रूप इन पृथ्वी आदि दृश्य लक्ष्मी को हृदय में धारण करती है. In this way, if we take the picture of manifestation or creation, so the time holds all these changes in its heart, means within itself. All these impressions which are created by creation and protection of it and destruction of it, all the impressions are seen in subtle form in the heart of heart, in the center of time. So time is all powerful. This is how, in the end, he explains the time God dances, and the power of it also dances with it, and it enters into the substratum time, which is the holder of the nature holder. Both together they dance, and in the end the dance also has to subside. So in the end remains the absolute silence, which is understood as something which is invisible. So it is said to be dark night of the soul. In this way, the words explain the process. यूं जगत रूप अंगों को धारण करने पर भी उसकी असंग और उदासीन चिद्रूप शिव स्वभावता होने के कारण वास्तव में निरवयवता ही है। वास्तव में चित्त स्वरूपा वह देवी न तो कभी शब्दों से वर्णित हो सकती है और न उसके कोई अवयव ही है। भद्र, केवल यही आप जानिए कि वह शिव स्वरूप है, अभिन्न होने के कारण विशुद्ध शिवात्मक ही है। So Vasishtha ji gives the essence of all his explanations in brief. He says, my dear Ram, if you hold all these all-round analytical picture before you, then you can understand this creative power, Kali. It cannot be explained in words. It is beyond the reach of speech, beyond the reach of mind also. Why? In the end, it has to disappear in its substratum. We have so many times discussed the creation means imbalanced state, which is expressed by the vibratory process. It is a vibratory process, which is otherwise known as changing process. Vibration cannot keep steady. It has to go on changing, waves. So this process is creation, so it cannot be exactly expressed in words because everything, everywhere, in all conditions going on changing, then what we can explain? If something is there steadily for some time, then only we can have contact with it and we can have some information about it. If it changes, then how can you have contact with it? So you say we cannot have contact. Then contradictory, you also said all these objects, what is contacted by these senses, by the mind and 5 units of knowledge, sound and form and smell, etc. Without contact, we cannot perceive anything in this world. So you have contact, but again you say you cannot have contact because it's changing. So you have to accept both the opposites at a time. You have to. So many times we have discussed, if a coin has a head, the opposite tail has to be there. This creation is created by the pairs of opposites. Without opposite, there is no object. This is called relativity. This world is a relative world. So we have to take both the aspects together. When there is contact, there is no contact. How it is? How it is? It is something madness, isn't it? Both. Huh?
How can sound be defined without the ear? There has to be some ear to
Yes.
call it sound.
Yes. The sound is nothing but vibration. The waves, sound is waves only. And wave means for a fraction of a second it appears and it goes on changing. So the changing process we cannot explain, and without change there is no object. And how do you mean, how do you understand this process? So if we see analytically, the change is possible in unchanging object. That means the wave can be seen only in a steady surface, which is unchanging, can be changing. If it is changing, you cannot say it is changing in changing. It has got no meaning. The moment you say it is changing, that it means also it was not changing. Isn't it? When you see unsteadiness, it is possible only on the steady surface. So both are together. Both are together. You are walking means, how do you walk? Can you continue your walk eternally? You have to stop it. Then only you can walk. So walking shows you were not walking in the past and now you have started walking. And walking means you have to stop also. This is called changing process. So if there is change, it means there was no change in the beginning. Logically, analytically, we have to take it to be correct. So whatever creation we see, whatever we speak upon, or it is creation or creative power or time or creator and its form, one or many, in any language you can say, but it is only possible when there was no creation. Creation will be created on no creation state. Understood now? So naturally this power is held by the steadiness. Power means changing. Changing will be held by the unchanging truth. Unchanging is truth, changing is untruth, unreal. Because there is no clarity. Though we perceive all these, it is momentary, it is changeful, so it is not reliable. This way, Vasishtha explaining to Ram, my dear, all these what I have explained, they are in the end, they are going to disappear in the absolute equilibrium state, which is nothing but the reality, the truth absolute, where all these changes will disappear somehow or other in the end. So now he says this play of time, it ends in absolute silence and absolute steadiness. This Kala Bhairav, the terrific sound god, and its power, Bhairavi, Kali, they disappear, they have to disappear in its substratum, in its holder. Holder means absolute equilibrium, absolute silence. So it will be not explained by words. And this change also, it is unexpressible because everything is changing every moment. So whatever we see as the creation, this is also, it is explained haphazardly and meaninglessly, which can mean anything and everything, because it is unexpressible. If you express it, it will be haphazard. It will not be exact. This is how Vasishtha explains to Rama, "O Rama, all your doubts are baseless." We cannot explain exactly what it is, so doubts are also explained in a haphazard way. It is not exact meaning of it. Just keep quiet, you will understand everything. The silence is the answer to every question. This is the last answer, which answers all your questions. तो करें भद्र, केवल यही आप जान लीजिए कि वो जो शिव स्वरूप से अभिन्न होने के कारण विशुद्ध शिवात्मा की ही है, because it is based on its substratum, that is time, or time is based on the absolute equilibrium, so everything disappears in its root cause. Root is most important, not the manifestation of the tree. If you want to nourish the tree, you have to put water and manure in the roots, not on the foliage of. Root is most important, the starting point. In the sports also we see the runners, how do they start? If the starting is well done, then he will win the race. Starting is most important. अंगों के न रहते भी अंगों का व्यापदेश होने में दृष्टांत देते हैं। भद्र, जैसे आकाश का शून्यत्व है, वायु का स्पंदन है, चंद्रिका का खिलने वाला कुमुद आदि अंग है, वैसे ही चित्ती का क्रिया एवं दृश्य अंग है। He is giving a beautiful example for analysis. See, he gives the example of manifestation, how the power or the nature manifests. He says, though the sky is empty, yet it holds the emptiness. How do you know it is empty? Because emptiness is there, it is seen. That's how the nature of the sky is emptiness. That's how we say sky is empty. It's quality. Without quality, we cannot know the qualified. Another example, there is vibration in the wind. Without vibration, you cannot know what is wind, whether there is wind or not. The small stanza generally taught to the children, who has seen the wind? Who has seen the wind? Neither you nor I. But when the trees nod their heads, the wind passes by. By vibration only we understand what is wind and how it is, whether it is or not. So the nature of whole explains the object. Object has its nature. Without light, without heat, where is the question of fire? Without liquidity, where is the question of water? No water, if there is no liquidity. If there is no emptiness, there is no sky. So all these are qualities of the object. Without the qualities, we cannot understand or explain anything about the object. He says the moonlight has its nature to uphold, to unfold the water lily. So it has its nature. When water lily is bloomed, that means there is moon and moonlight. Without it, it cannot be bloomed. चंद्रिका का खिलने वाला कुमुद आदि अंग है. The nature is its part and parcel of the object. वैसे ही चित्ती का क्रिया एवं दृश्य अंग है. So we can apply it into the cosmic power. Cosmic power, which is understood as chitti, the conscious power, which knows itself and it goes on changing, that is cosmic power. So the cosmic power, which is named as chitti, का क्रिया एवं दृश्य अंग है. It's part and parcel. Its nature is to create or to act and to see or to be visible. That's how the seer, seen and seen object are part and parcel of the nature. If it is activated, then we have to see some seer which see the action, and the action process, and also the result of it. This is the nature of the nature, nature's nature. That's how it is understood as nature. How do you say it? Such and such thing, because there is no words which can exactly explain what it is. So we have to say in this way, because we don't know anything. The blinds or the savages, they go to the capital city to see how it is and how the king and all his subordinates will be doing, how they look like. So they wanted to see. When they reached the outskirt of the city, they saw something which they never saw before. So one is asking the other what it is. So the first person says, it is like this, because there is nothing known before. It is unknown, unseen. So he says, it is like this. Such things will be always there in such places. And there are some pillars like some objects, they are moving front and behind. What it is? Then the first explains, you fool, see, this is like this. If this will be like this, then this will have such four things like this. And what are those two fan-like things which are moving upward? Such thing will have such four things and such two things which will be like this. There is no words because it is never seen before, never spoken. So there is no words to explain it. So this way, the elephant is understood by unknown persons. This is some gigantic figure like this. And this will have four things like this. This will have such a big pan like this, the belly. This will have such thing like this, the trunk. And this will have two things like this, the ears. This is how this Maya or the supreme power, the nature is explained. Whatever we explain, it has got no meaning actually. No words can explain it because it is unexpressible. They say, Achintya Rupa Charite. Oh my dear mother, nature, your beauty, your form is beyond our thoughts. We cannot imagine what are you and how do you do. So it is beyond the words, beyond the mind. Now, if this is understood, then naturally, whatever is happening, it has this nature. This will, if this is like this, then this will have such a nature like this. Understood now? This is the language to explain the creation or destruction in this way, because it is beyond words. भद्र जैसे आकाश का शून्यत्व है, वायु का स्पंदन है, चंद्रिका का खिलने वाला कुमुद आदि अंग है, वैसे ही चिति का क्रिया एवं दृश्य अंग है. This is how the unseen becomes seen and unknown becomes known, and this is how unmanifested manifests, and this is how unpersonified is personified as a form and name. Now you cannot have any chance to ask anything. All your questions are solved. Can you ask anything after this? Because this is like this. There is no logic. It is beyond logic, beyond analysis. Analytically we see this is beyond analysis. We understood that it is beyond understanding. We are speaking which is unspeakable. We try to understand it. When you stop understanding, then only you will understand what it is. So they say, according to Indian philosophy, they say, keep quiet, don't search, you will get it. Keep quiet, don't search for it, you will get it. But opposite to it, the Western philosophy says, search and find. So we can mean in the end by holding both together. Search for object which is beyond search. Try to search. Object which is beyond search, beyond searching. This is what we do. We are searching in this world. Every moment, every being is aimed to have some pleasure, permanent pleasure. Who has got it? Who has got the continuous, unbroken joy? Because this world is subject to pairs of opposites pairs. It is subject to opposite also. So if at all you get a momentary joy, just after it turns into pain and discomfort, unhappiness. This is how we see the day ends in darkness. The brightness of light of the day ends in darkness, and darkness will not remain for long. Darkness also disappears in the light. This is how the cycle goes on. This cycle is known as the cycle of the world. Everything repeats, everything changes. The same year comes again and again. Same month comes again and again. Same season comes again and again. Kalo gacchati gacchatyāyu. क्या कहते हैं, ऋतु वर्ष सब चला जाता है. The time passes on, the life passes on, it ends, but yet we cannot give up our desire to have more. Tadapi na munchyate asa payu. We are so great fools. We are searching for something which is not seen in a place. We go to search for that which is absent in that. We are trying to see the steadiness in changing process. We are trying to get permanent happiness, which is otherwise said as bliss, continuous, unbroken, uninterrupted happiness is known as bliss. That bliss we are searching for everywhere, in every object. Whole life we spend for this only, but nobody has got this in this world. That's how the world is defined as a house of only miseries, abode of miseries. You cannot get any pleasure in this world. इसी प्रकार उसका कालात्मक जगत अंग वाले क्रिया स्वरूप का वर्णन कर अब उसका वास्तविक स्वरूप बतलाते हैं. Basidji in this way explaining all these limbs of the time, limbs, part and parcel of time, all these objects, forms and its names, which were not there and which will not be there in the end, in the middle it is appeared to be. It appears to be. They give an example. Around a room, a house, people were crowding there, and there was one person inside the room, and he saw a bird entering the room in some open window and getting out in the opposite window. He sees it. He claims, I have seen a bird entering in the room and going out of it. So he asked to have the proof. Have you seen the bird getting out? No, nobody has seen. And have you seen the bird entering in the house? Nobody says we have seen it. That means there is no proof. It has entered into the room and it has gone out of it. So because there is no proof of the bird inside the room, it is false. We cannot believe it. The person either telling a lie or he has misunderstood something to be a bird. It is only misunderstanding. This way, we don't know what was there before creation. We don't know what will be there after creation. But we claim the creation is there, it is true. How it can be? No proof of its beginning. And in the end, he is going to conclude, see, all these forms and names which we described as the time god and its power, they also disappear into absolute silence. Absolute darkness means there is no knowledge of it. So how can you claim this world to be? वास्तव में उसका स्वरूप शिव शांत आभास रहित अपना अविनाशी एवं निर्मल है, वह आप जान लीजिए, उसमें तनिक भी स्तिमिता स्तिमितता या निष्पन्द धर्मता नहीं है। स्तिम स्तिम मीन्स स्पंदन, निष्पन्दता पूर्ण रूप से है, कोई स्पंदन धर्म नहीं है उधर। So in the end explains Vasir ji, my dear Ram, in the end you have to conclude everything to be absolute silence. That is the end of everything. Absolute equilibrium. Everything ends there. That is, in words, highest words, we can say existence is absolute, and knowledge absolute, and bliss absolute, which is unbroken, uninterrupted, and which is perfectly perfect, absolute perfection, and the absolute truth. All these words only are symbolic and indicative. These words also have no meaning, but they indicate the absolute silence. When you are talking of silence, how can you talk of silence? You are talking, breaking the silence. That means if you are talking about the silence, silence is understood, your words are indicative and it has got no meaning. Any word cannot mean, no word can mean silence, because it is silence. So in the class, in the schools, in the classroom, the students make noise, and if the teacher wants to keep them silent, then he never says, "Oh, boys, keep silent." No, he will just indicate, "Keep your mouth closed." The indication means to keep quiet. It is not the language. What we cannot express by our words, we express it by the movement of body. That is called body language, can explain it. We see, if a hungry dog comes and sits on the front of your door, what does it mean? It is looking at you. It wants something, but it cannot say. So you have to understand, the dog is waiting for two breads. This is called body language. इस प्रकार उसका कालात्मक जगदंग वाले क्रिया स्वरूप का वर्णन कर अब उसका वास्तविक स्वरूप बतलाते हैं। तो वास्तविक स्वरूप तो यह है शिव शांत, आयास रहित, आयास मतलब चेष्टा, चेष्टा रहित और अविनाशी, अनडिस्ट्रक्टिबल, इम्पेरिसेबल एवं निर्मल है, एब्सोल्युटली परफेक्ट, स्पॉटलेस and absolutely pure. Purity means there is no possibility of the second in the first. That's how they say, one without a second. There is no possibility of second. Why? Because if you count one, it shows there is possibility of the two second. That's how you confirm it is one, then only the need of counting starts to differentiate between the objects. If it is absolutely one, it is never counted. And counting, the changing, and that is also to imagine that also is time, and the process also is known as the power of the time. So it is concerned with forms and names. So time expresses itself in the form of time, a form and name. Without time, you cannot understand what is form and name. So, the saying goes, time is all powerful. Time controls the whole creation. उसका जो क्रियात्मक स्वरूप है वह तो अबोध काल में ही दिखाई पड़ता है. If at all we see the creative process of time or the creator, it is only seen in ignorance. A knowledgeable person, a wise man, who has realized the truth, who has seen the truth, he will not be bewildered by all these changing process and all these names and forms. For him there is no such creation, but absolute truth is hidden in everything.
Swamiji, can time exist without space?
The same time is known as space. Same time is known as conditions. Same time is known as mind, prana, the vital energy. And all the energies are nothing but the time, because it is a changing process. So, it is everything. That's how it is the all-controller. Time is the niyati, the all-controller. Time decides everything. Some great yogi once talking to me, I was impatient for something and doing something rubbish nonsense because I could not get it. So he knew it, and out of mercy, he came to me and explained, my dear, do you think you can get something before time? Can you challenge time? See, the farmer sows the seeds in the farm. He has to wait for some time to harvest the crop. The moment he sows the seeds, he cannot harvest the crop next moment. It is impossible. If you have put some seed on the ground, you have to wait for some time for the tree to come out and mature, and then flower, and then you can get the fruit. You cannot get the fruit just after you have put the seed in the earth. Everything is subject to time. You have to wait for the time, proper time to come. That's how the patience is the greatest friend in life. If you have patience, you can achieve everything. If you have don't patience, then you are a failure in your life. For everything you have to wait patiently. Patience is the greatest friend in our life. And in other words also they say, it is common everywhere. You see, patience is the highest friend, and silence is the answer to everything, and it is the solution to everything. Maunam sarvartha sadhakam. Silence is the solution to everything. इसी के ऊपर तो हमारे मौनी बाबा थे, कौन प्रधानमंत्री, नरसिंह राव और मनमोहन सिंह, वो कुछ डिसीजन नहीं लेते थे. Keep quiet, time will solve everything. There is a saying, time will solve everything. Time is solution to all the problems. So keep quiet, wait, everything will occur according to the nature. On this basis only we get the advice in the Gita. Lord Krishna says, I am the greatest time. And patience is the great helper in your life. In this way, this शिवात्मा का स्वरूप बोध दशा में तो प्रत्यक्ष होता है, वही असली है. When you are awake in your conscience, when you are able to see everything in its proper manner, that means you don't see any changing forms and names of this creation, but see the hidden truth behind it, underneath it. Then only you are a proper seer. Or else you are ignorant fellow. You are said to be ignorant. You don't know anything. You may claim, so our doctorate certificate, our master in degree, all these are meaningless. This is the certificate of ignorance. You are the greatest ignorant fellow. Why? These certificates work only for some time and for some need. Or else your engineering certificate will not do in hospitals. It is only valuable in particular place, in particular time. So it is useless. And it is only a partial, some quality for some time, and you spend whole your life for it. This is how all our worldly knowledge, the changeable knowledge, is meaningless. You may be doctor in many subjects. Whole life you have spent in doing research and having doctorate certificates. That is only valuable in this life and for some time in some place, in some condition. It is not permanent. It will not work in the other realms, other worlds which are subtler than this, many phases of existence are there. This is the grossmost. This certificate will not do there in the heaven or in other realms. It is good for nothing. Have some permanent certificate. That will be knowledge about the permanent, imperishable. That is the real knowledge, and that is the real certificate. The certificate is the absolute silence. It is not written in a paper. It is only silence, the absolute certificate. You have passed all your exams, all your queries, all your researches. You have undergone everything, now you are keeping quiet. That is the end of everything. उसका जो क्रिया स्वरूप है वह तो अबोध काल में ही होता है। अज्ञान दशा में वह उत्तर स्वरूपा क्रिया ही है, पर जब बोधवश यानी ज्ञान बस क्रिया स्वभाव से मुक्त होकर वास्तव स्वरूप धारिणी हो जाती है, तब उसकी शिव संज्ञा पड़ जाती है। उसे शिव ही कहा जाता है। So he gives the conclusion. If you know something, it is your ignorance. If you have gone all these some things and sometimes gone beyond time and space and achieved the absolute silence, there the same process of creation or changing process that ends there, and that is known as absolute Shiva, means silence. Sant. Shiva means Sant, absolute silence. And that is the end of all your actions and reactions. That we call Naiskarmya Siddhi, the achievement of actionless state, inactive state. That is what Gita says, Lord Krishna says, you have to be enacting. So is it possible in the world? Because this is relative world. Nobody can keep quiet for a moment. How can you advise me to keep quiet, not doing anything? No action. Naiskarmya Siddhi karo. So then he explains how to see both in one. Now we are discussing both the opposites you have to see in one only. Head and tail is in one coin. Day and night is on the same place. So this is how we have to see. Inaction is in action and action is in inaction. How do you see? He gives the example. If you do something, you are a doer. If you have no doership, that identity of doer is not there, that ego of doership is not there, then you are not taken as the doer. Understood? This is how. Though you act, if you have no doership, then it is not taken as action, so you are non-doer. Doership in non-doership, action in inaction. The example is given just as a servant works in the field for the sake of the owner of the field. He takes his wages every day and he does his duty. But the result is gone to the owner. He has no claim on the harvest, the outcome of his labor. He cannot claim it because he does everything for the sake of the owner, and he never claims as the owner of the field or doer of his daily works. He does everything for the owner only. So this way, if you can do everything, all your actions become inaction because you have no doership. That is how he explains, Lord Krishna explains, doership in non-doership. Though you do everything, yet you are non-doer. You have not the ego, of doership, so you are not taken as a doer. You will not get the result. The result is on the hands of the owner. Owner. Who is the owner? The absolute owner is one. Under his ownership only all these shareholders, they own something. Shareholders in the share market. The owner who is somebody else, you can get your partial profits, daily wages you are doing, so you will not go in hunger. You will be fed. This is how, if you can be a seer, though you see everything, you be a witness, not claiming as the seership. This is how you can, though you are in the world, though you do everything as per the need of, demand of the time, space and conditions, surroundings, situations, if you fulfill the need, you are not called as a doer. It is time which demands and you fulfill the need. It is situation which wants, you have fulfilled the need of the hour. Just as you are going in a street, you saw some child has fallen down and he is wounded. So your duty is to take him to the hospital and give him some help. That is not doership. It is your fulfilling the demand of the situation. That is to be done. It is as a duty. You have done your duty, but you are not the doer. Duty means to fulfill the demand of time, space and conditions. There you are not the doer. That's how Yoga Vasishtha, the essence of Yoga Vasishtha says, be at present, don't think of the past, don't think of plan for the future, live at present and accept what comes to you without asking, without inviting, and don't reject anything whatever comes. So no acceptance, no rejection. So where is the doership then? Whatever comes, welcomes. It is welcomed. You cannot have the ego of doership if you live at present. Present is the real time. Present is your real life. Past is gone and dead. There is no hope in past because it is already past. And there is no hope in future because it is uncertain. Nobody has seen the future. Just as nobody has seen the wind, so also nobody has seen the future. You may claim some astrologers, they say rightly on future, your future life, how it is going to be, what are you going to get, what you are going to lose, everything the astrologers say. Our climate forecast people, they said tomorrow there will be rain. So should we believe on them? They say tomorrow there will be rain and tomorrow we see clear sky and hot sun. Nothing happens. It is just to guess and say something. Gesture is not real. No astrologer can say anything on future 100% rightly. Nobody. Because nothing is known to a person, limited person. Because everything is in the hand of absolute controller which is unlimited. You are limited private being. Private limited being. Your business is private limited. It is not government job. The absolute government is all controller. So we see inaction in action and persons in no person and creation in no creation. Absolutely, in the end, we reach the absolute silence. तब उसका शिव संज्ञा पड़ जाता है कब? The same creative power which we call Kali, when it keeps quiet, it becomes silent. So it holds the name Shiva, means silence. It ends in silence. कुटस्थ चिति शक्ति रूप देवी का अपने स्वरूप में जो अविद्या से प्रतिकूल स्पंदन जड़ आदि स्वभाव से स्थिति है, वही क्रिया कही जाती है। और विद्या से जब उसकी वास्तविक विशुद्ध अनुकूल चेतन रूप स्थिति हो जाती है, तब उसे शिव कहा जाता है। So the last conclusion is the same changing process and it ends in non-changing silence. So whatever you call time or the power of time which is cause for creation and destruction, they are nothing but they are absolute silence. They end in silence. And while they are working, means they are in process, they are moving on, they appear to be moving, which is not the reality. That is known as creation or creative process or time process or the power of time. All these are just in the process. In the end of the process, nothing is there. Nothing means absolute silence. Nothing means everything. How it is? Nothing means everything. We have discussed so many times. You have to see both things in one, both the opposites in one. How many times we have to discuss it? Nothing means everything. The opposite is true. The vice versa is true. Head means coin, and tail means also coin. There is no tail without a coin. There is no head without a coin. And head means a tail also. Without the opposite, the positive cannot stand. So if you say inaction, there is action. There is possibility of action. That's how you can say it is inactive state. There is possibility. That's how we imagine all these changes in unchanging reality. We imagine, it can be imagined. We have seen many times the snake is imagined because the rope is not seen properly. Some appearance which is not clear, which is covered up by darkness, but we are sure there is something, and we imagine. That's how this world is imagined only because the truth is unseen. Truth is hidden behind. And all these seen objects are only imaginations, and they are called superimposition. Superimposed. It is imagined, which is not true, on the truth, because truth is invisible. Then you may ask, why truth is invisible? Because it is eternal. And why it is not invisible? It is due to, they say, and you have to understand, it is due to some unexpressible reason, which is called Maya or ignorance. It cannot be explained. We give the example, when you are searching for a absent boy in the class, you have to search it in the places where he is not present. Search is done in absence only. When the boy is found, there is no search. So, when the truth is seen, then there is no ignorance. There is no search. Search is a changing process which is known as ignorance, because the truth is not found. And until and unless you find the truth, till then you have to search for it, but it is in vain. It has got no use. It is useless. Your search is useless. So how can we find the reality? If you say, don't search, how can we find the reality? No, you can find. Why? Because the reality is ever existing. It exists in you, in search also, in the background. If there is no background, there cannot stand any picture. Picture is drawn on a background screen. Everything has some holder which is not taken into consideration, and the objects are seen, but the holder is not seen. It has got no importance in the relative world. We see the trees, we don't go to its roots because it is hidden underneath. But without root, can there be any tree? Have you seen any tree without roots? Yes, we have seen. What is that? Where it is? It is, can you think what is it? Without roots, without seeds. What is it? The parasites. The parasites. Some parasites we see on some trees, they have no seed, they have no origin, and they have no roots. But yet it is seen. Similarly, you can say this world is a parasite. World is a parasite. It is superimposed. It is appeared on the truth. This is called parasite. So whatever you see, and yourself also within it, everything is parasite only, and we stand upon the reality. It is there, but it has got no starting, no end. The creation has no starting, no end. We discussed on the bird, which has not any beginning, which has got no end. How can you say it is seen in the middle? All these, your logic is baseless. So, in the end, the Absolute remains in silence. And there is no action or reaction, there is no person or personification, there is no creation, there is no destruction. All these are imaginations. Why only one world? So innumerable worlds will be there. As you think, so it appears to you. And as you think, so you have become something. So you see something. According to your thoughts, you create this world. You cannot deny yourself. Yourself is the creator. Your imagination has been based on you only. You means you have to find out who are you. You have to search for yourself, not others. That is called self-analysis or what do they call it? Self-analysis or...
Self-evolution.
Huh?
Self-evolution.
Yes. Search and find who are you. Before going to others, know about yourself. That is your foremost and first duty. Without knowing yourself, you are trying to understand others. Is it not a foolish act? So today we stop here. Tomorrow we shall see further what is the end of the story. How all these names and forms, including all these luminous beings, say sun, moon, and all these stars, and all these galaxies, all these manifold worlds, and what we see, what is beyond our vision, everything exists. How do they exist? How are they seen? We see it. How can we deny it? In this way you have to analyze and deny everything. Nothing exists. Nothing belongs to me. I am neither body nor mind. The immortal, imperishable truth am I. This is the last conclusion. You cannot disprove it. You are bound to accept it today. Tomorrow we shall see. That tomorrow will never come. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Chidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Sabda Brahma ki jai. Saraswati Maharani ki jai. Jogavasirji Bhagavan ki jai. Hari Om.